Welcome to the Enhancing Clinical Practice Outcomes stream at SNOMED CT Expo 2024. My name is Liara Tatina, and I'm the Customer Relations Executive Asia Pacific Region and Global Education Lead at SNOMED International. I'll be moderating today's session. All questions will be answered at the conclusion of the presentation. Online attendees, please use your Q&A button to type your questions to the presenter. On-site attendees, please use the microphone provided in the room. I'm now pleased to introduce Professor Hyeoun-Ae Park from Seoul National University and Hyeoun-Ae, who will be presenting how to improve SNOMED CT ontology to represent concepts used in Korean traditional medicine. Professor Park, please go ahead.
Thank you, Liara, for your introduction. Good afternoon. I hope you had a good lunch. As Liara introduced, I'm Hyeoun-Ae Park from Seoul, Korea, and I'm not a Korean traditional medicine doctor. So whatever I say today, it's coming from the view of a terminologist, not the traditional Korean medicine doctor. So my title is How to Improve SNOMED CT Ontology to Represent the Concept Used in Traditional Korean Medicine. So since I'm not a doctor of traditional Korean medicine, I had to understand everything from the beginning. So this is how I studied. So I'm not going to talk about Western medicine, but I will talk about the traditional Korean medicine. So traditional Korean medicine really focused on a person as a whole rather than symptoms, okay? So when you introduce the treatment for anybody who has a disease, it's really talking about the symptom as a group rather than just the one symptom. So that's my kind of a basic understanding of traditional Korean medicine. So this is a diagnostic process of traditional Korean medicine the way I understood. So doctors collect signs and symptoms, physiology and pathology using different types of examinations. So there I have inspection, for example, tongue condition, listening, smelling, inquiring, and palpation using pulse conditions. And they use different types of tools and assessment tools. So example, pulse diagnostic device, a tongue diagnostic device, and various types of assessment tools, not only used for traditional medicine, but also used for Western medicine. And then after going through all these process, they come up with patterns. Sometimes they call it syndromes. So I think the term patterns is used interchangeably with syndromes, right? And so from the left side to the right side, there is a process called pattern identification, okay? So that's how I understood that. I hope I understood correctly, okay? So you saw signs and symptoms, physiology, pathology on the very left side, that's the data traditional Korean medicine doctors collect. So I'm not going to talk about signs and symptoms because you know from the Western medicine, but would like to talk about physiology. So here, the physiology is that it is a process or mechanism operating within an organization. So it is a change process of yin and yang and the visceral organs in the body in traditional medicine. And it is activities of energy could be up, down, out, and in as a result of interaction of blood and qi, visceral organization, and medicine. So it's a quite complicated kind of concept. So I have an example here, yin, yang, exterior, interior, cold, heat, deficiency, excess. So you're really asking, is this person has a yang kind of characteristics or is this person have a yin characteristics? You know, is this person has a deficiency of something or is this person has excess of something, you know, excess of could be heat or excess of cold, right? So that's the way I see the physiology. So I had a discussion about this with Young, and we had some differences in the opinion, but we'll talk more about this later. Now I would like to move on to pathology part. So the way pathology is defined is that it is a conditions typically observed during a disease state, okay? So it could be yin cold. So within the yin and yang, this person has yin characteristics, but within the cold and heat, this person has cold characteristics. So it could be that, or heat from the interior. We saw interior, exterior, so it's heat coming from interior or cold from interior, things like that. Or too much yang energy or too much yin energy, or too much, or yang deficiency or yin deficiency. So I hope you understand the pathology coming from traditional Korean medicine. Now I would like to talk about the pattern identification or syndrome differentiation. So we talked about this on the first slide. So it is a process overall analysis of clinical data to determine the location, the cause, the nature of a patient disease, and achieving a diagnosis of patterns or syndromes, also called pattern identification or syndrome differentiation. And these are the methods traditional Korean medicine doctors use. I don't mean that they use all of them. I think they use one of them or two of them or three of them, but I think the top one is the most widely used one. It's called 8 Principles Pattern. I'll be talking about this a little bit later. There is a visceral pattern identification. I think those two are most widely used methods. And then there are any more. So they can use one of them, or they can use combined methods, So it could be 3 of them being used at this one time and one just used one time, right? Mm. So now I would like to introduce a principal pattern identification. This is most widely used pattern identification method in traditional Korean medicine. And patterns are identified based on these 8 principles. Yin, yang, 2, exterior, interior, another 2, cold, heat, another 2, deficiency, excess, another 2. But I think yin and yang is kind of overarching principle. So yin and yang goes with other, rest of the 6 principles. Okay, so this was a really difficult part for me to understand. So anyway, that's 8 principles. And there is a visceral pattern identification. It is based on physiological functions and the pathological characteristics of internal organs. Internal organs, such as intestine, stomach, kidney, there's 5 internal organs that they analyzed. And then they inferred through 4 types of diagnosis methods and 8 principles I talked about, okay? So there is another, not only 5 internal organs, but there's 6 parts of that organs, right? So 6 parts, large intestine, small intestine, gallbladder, stomach, bladder, upper chest, middle chest, and lower chest. So examples I have here: spleen stomach deficiency, cold pattern. So you see there is organ, there is a deficiency part, there is a cold part. So this is kind of an example of pattern that the Korean traditional medicine doctors, determined. So these 8 principles can be used in different ways. It could be used in a combination. It could be used a conversion way. It could be used complex way. Sometimes it could use just opposite way. So not only they use just the 8 principles, but they use it in a very different ways. So That's how they come up with the patterns. So I have more examples here. Oh, sorry. This is the diagnostic tools. Okay. So not only they use their bare eyes or hands, but they can use the tools, different types of tools. So you when you think about the traditional medicine, you don't think they do not use any kind of IT things like that, but they do have IT devices, and also they use quite a few assessment tools there. So these are the examples of patterns they determined using both types of examination and different types of tools and devices. So here, exterior cold with a lung heat pattern. So there is a lung, there is exterior, there is a cold, there is heat. So we kind of use all different types of 8 principles. If I go down, there is intestine called stagnation pattern. So stagnation is a new concept, right? We haven't talked about stagnation, but I told you there are other pattern identification methods. There you could come up with a stagnation. So I think Dr. So will talk about more about the mapping that they did, to SNOMED CT. But these are as a terminologist, the gaps that I identified during the mapping. So how are we gonna solve this issue or fill the gaps? So there is a physiologic term. And I thought that since we are really asking this person has a yang side or this person has a cold side, so I thought that's a observable entity. But Young disagrees. Anyway, so I thought that we could create observable level hierarchy just for the traditional medicine, or we could have a branch to accommodate this concept. Regarding pathology terms, I think we could add these terms to clinical finding top level, but I think it's a matter of us to decide whether we want to have, again, branch just to accommodate this. Physical examination terms, these terms can be added to procedure hierarchy. Or again, we could introduce a new semantic tag either in SNOMED International Edition or traditional medicine ontology. Device and assessment tools. During my mapping assignment, I saw quite a few tools that used in Western medicine, so I kind of added those tools to assessment scale top level hierarchies. And there are devices that we could add to physical object semantic text. So it was easy to resolve. Regarding patterns, Young already created a pattern semantic tag. So we could really easily model using theoretical entity concept in traditional medicine. So here I have relationships. I mean, I kind of figured out these relationships among signs and symptoms, patterns, and disease. Since Korea is using KCD for diagnosis determined by traditional Korean medicine doctors, so we have KCD for disease, and this disease can have more than one pattern or syndrome, also could have more than one signs and symptoms. So this disease only can have a patterns or only can have signs and symptoms. That's why I have cardinality from 0 to many, cardinality even to signs and symptoms, cardinality from 0 to many. And so I have this type of relationship, associate pattern between disease and patterns, and associate finding between pattern and signs and symptoms, and associate finding between disease and signs and symptoms. So it's nothing new regarding associate finding, but associate pattern, and you already have in the traditional medicine ontology. Now I would like to move to herbal medicine. Herbal medicine plays a very big role in traditional Korean medicine. As you can see here, it's really resolving patterns. If you have a lot of heat, then we want to calm down your heat. If you have excess cold, then we want to increase, you know. So it's really kind of, I see it as a principle of a treatment, you know. So these are the goals that you want to achieve using the herbal medicine. So these are the types of medicine. So you see that interior warming herb, or blood activating and steady spending, you know, things like that. So by just reading it, you could understand what are the purposes of medicine. But all those medicines are combination of herbs. So here I have all the list of herbs. So I call it primary herbs. See how much study I did? Yes. So those terms, you know, of course, can be added to organism hierarchy. And if we take a look at the forms, drug forms of traditional medicine, herbal medicine, it could take any type of drug form that we use in Western medicine, such as pills, powders, ointment, but there are decoction, which is a kind of a soup, you know, made of different types of herbal ingredient, okay? And there is extract that you extract from a plant. So I think that's we need, that's the drug forms that we need to add. So here I have relationships among all these components. So in the middle, I have herbal formula. It could be herbal prescriptions or could be herbal product coming from a company or herbal supplement. And this herbal formula can have more than one primary herb or can have substance extract from a plant. And these herbal medicine can come in different forms. So the decoction could be one. And then while I'm talking to our colleagues in traditional Korean medicine, they really would like to have a therapeutic role. Are we promoting or increasing the yang or decreasing yang, whatever? So that's kind of intention of the medicine. This here I have an example. So there is a medicine, interior warming herb, and there are 3 ingredients. I hope I'm right. So anyway, so the 3 ingredients, and the form can be decoction, and the purpose is warm the inside of body and expels coldness, you know. So how are we going to solve the gaps in herbal medicine terms? For the primary herb, we could add terms to organism hierarchy, okay? But in the meantime, we also need to add extracts coming from plants. So we need to do that. Or we could create a new semantic tag, either SNOMED CT International Edition or traditional medicine sub-ontology. Regarding herbal formula, we could add terms as a child concept of herbal medicine, you know. But if we want to come up with a very detailed information, you know, like, for example, how many milligrams, how many grams, so that's a totally different issue. So then we need to go to a medicinal product and, you know, clinical drugs and things like that. But I'm really talking about like overall kind of thing here. Or we can create a new semantic text either in international edition or traditional methodology. Now, I would like to move on to other types of treatment procedures used by traditional Korean medicine doctors, acupuncture, thread embedding therapy, moxibustion, tapping, pharmacopuncture, bee venom acupuncture. I think bee venom acupuncture can be belong to pharmacopuncture, and chuna, which is some kind of oriental chiropractic. So after long discussion with our colleagues in traditional medicine, all these procedures can be described using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 component. So that doesn't mean that every procedure has all these components, you know. So some procedure can have only body side, some procedure can have only device parts, some procedure have only method parts, you know. So, and for example, their moxibustion, they use plant there, mugwort. So that's why we need even a primary herb to describe different types of procedure. Anyway, so if I go back again, I think you saw has organism attribute relationship even in urban medicine. For this procedure, I think also we need that attribute. So other things, I don't think I need to go over because international edition has all the semantic tag or high level hierarchy to accommodate this, but there is no attribute relationship connecting procedure to primary herb. So I'm just suggesting that we add new attribute to describe that relationship. So the name of the attribute could be, it's a temporary naming, has organization or has a primary herb. Domains could be any concept under urban medicine or any concept under procedure used in traditional Korean medicine. Range could be, should be concept belong to organism hierarchy. I think that's my last slide. With that, I would like to thank you for your attention. And also, I would like to thank you, my colleagues in traditional medicine. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Park. Professor Park will now take questions. As a reminder, if you would like to ask a question in the room, please use the microphone. Feel free to ask questions, or I will.
Jonas. I don't think it's on.
Thanks, Professor Park. Yeah, it's a brilliant summary about traditional medicine from the diagnosis and the observation of patient and the method have been used. And the interesting part is about the model you mentioned later on slides. One area I think maybe we can have some more discussion is about relationship between the organism and the substance, because in SNOMED CT, organisms represent, for example, a plant as a whole, and substance could be substance from any part of this organism. And quite often in herb medicine, use either root or leaf or flower from the plants. So maybe we need to look at how they are linked to each other in a sense. I don't know if you have a discussion already in this area or not.
No. Your point is very well taken. The way I thought was that we have a plant as a herbal ingredient, and then I thought that we'll have extract. So I'll just add that extract to the substance hierarchy, and I haven't really thought about the relationship between herb, primary herb, to substance. I think you have a great point. Yes.
And also, some herbal medicine is restricted by name to the plants, and also quite often use mineral and other substance. So therefore, the maybe the model even needed to expand further.
Yeah, I learned that during session yesterday. I didn't know that the herbal medicine can have minerals and other types of ingredients. So yes.
Thank you.
So
very
that's
much.
my weakness, right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any more questions in the room? Okay, I get the turn. I have a question. How useful is SNOMED CT ontology to represent concepts used in traditional medicine, and what are our next steps?
So before I prepared this presentation, we had a meeting. Me and colleagues in traditional Korean medicine. So before I went there, I kind of studied again traditional medicine ontology. There were a lot of improvement, in the traditional medicine ontology since I visited last time. So I think most of concept describing patterns, I don't think we'll have any problem of, to author, because you have theoretical entity concept there, and the most of patterns can be described by that. But only part that I have a concern is that the urban medicine. I don't mean that we have a problem with the ontology, just a problem of how are we going to represent that? Are we going to represent in the already existing terminology, SNOMED ontology as a one component, or do we want to group them, so that people can identify easily? Okay, these are the herbal medicine. If I just go to that branch and I can identify what they are. Again, the same goes with the herbal primary herbs. Do we want to have all the as one of the old plants, or do you want to group them together because it has some kind of medicinal, efficacy? So that's kind of that observation I made during this work. Yes. So ontology is very sound. Yeah, very good. Yes.
Thank you. Any questions in the audience? Okay. Yep.
Thank you, Dr. Park. Very good presentation. In US alternative medicine, I've seen where they will place the frequencies of an organism into a liquid and apply that to the patient. Does that concept exist in Korean traditional medicine, and how would you propose representing the organism frequencies as part of either the substance hierarchy or in the SNOMED ontology?
Gosh, now I think I need help from the traditional Korean medicine, because really that's first time I heard of that. Frequency of organ이 뭐예요? 그런 게 있어요? Dose of medicine? Oh, okay. So I'll have a discussion with the doctors from traditional medicine, because really this is first time for me to hear. Yeah. I hope there is a solution for that though.
Great, thank you. I think that probably is our time limit for the questions, but I would like to thank Professor Park for her presentation, and let's give it a round of applause.
Thank you.